games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.
Mic check. Yes. What's good, everybody? You know what time it is. Get that badger in and on and over here. He's in, he's on, he's over, he's here. I didn't drop in yesterday. I literally didn't have enough time. I wasn't going to do one today. I'm off on Just Joe's at 9:30. So check out Just Joe's show at 9:30 for the final word. I wasn't going to do one today because I'm absolutely jiggered. But I thought, no, you got to get back on that horse and you got to get back on that bandwagon. You got to stay with it, haven't you? Because if not, them subscribers stop. I've reached 4,000 subscribers, largely thanks to Joe, to be fair. I never asked for subscribers at all, apart from the scrolling thing that I put on, but I don't even know if anybody reads that. But I'm going to start setting goals, I think, boys. I'm going to start setting goals, because why shouldn't I have 150,000 million subscribers? That's what I'm saying, you know what I mean? Nah, I'm only messing, but I do appreciate each and every which one of you. Try to get back to everybody. Got a couple of quick shout-outs to do. I want to shout out to Phil Briscoe and Johnny Peacock, who are both members, been members for months and months and months. Absolute legend. Shout out to Phil Briscoe and Johnny Peacock. Also want to give a quick shout out DJing last night, and there were some boys that didn't, you know, it was not deliberate, but my eyes are so shit, and they're like, I thought they were requesting a song, and they were like sat on the, there's like, we're a DJ, and then there's like two like tall tables that goes like then into the function room or whatever, and they were like holding the phone up, and sometimes some lads will put on the notes like in big text and then just hold it up because they don't want to be a ball bag and come over and like, hey mate, it's not for me, like, it's for me bird. Will you put Rihanna Rude Boy on? Is there any chance of Rihanna? It's not for me, like, I don't like it, but it's for me bird and she didn't ask for it. Like, it's for you, innit, mate? Or chick will come up with sob story, like going, it's my friend's split up with a partner of 4 months. It's like, just ask me for the fucking side. I don't want a conversation. Yeah, and you know, we'd really appreciate it if you'd play a love ballad that lasts 7 minutes at peak time. So, oh, I can't do that, can I, love? But anyway, that's not the story. The story is that they held this thing up, and I like, boys, I've no chance. I like squinting like that, and then this lad put it on full screen, leant over, and there was watching one of shit vids, so I pissed myself laughing, but I never really got a chance to chat to them. So shout out to them, boys. If you comment, I'll shout each and every which one of you out. I've got a track out on the 13th of September. The link is below if anybody wants to help. Quick shit vid. I'm going to do a quick chat about yesterday. Really enjoyed the game yesterday. I love getting to Ellen Road. It's the best. Buzzing with the Joseph goal. Mint goal. Great for his confidence. Because, you know, whether you like it or not, it does get to a point where potentially, you know, you're waiting around for his goal to come, and then, you know, questions do start getting asked. If he gets 10 games in and there's no goals, I know his contribution's been great, and I'm not suggesting he shouldn't be the number 9, because I do think he should be. But, you know, and particularly with Bamford just being unbelievably injury prone, we'll get onto that. But yeah, it's just, you know, there's just a lack of questions then get asked. I've also got me thinking, like I was speaking to my brother, who also managed to get a ticket, but the sections in the Cop are cut up and we didn't know, and it was actually, you know, we thought we'd be able to intertwine a bit more, but you can meet in that smoking area at half time, bladder, bladder, bladder. But yeah, it's just interesting. So like Aronson had a good game yesterday, but there's no, you know, I was happy with Aronson's contribution, but there's no questions asked of him, which is interesting. So Joseph was sort of in the Bamford, obviously not, I don't mean physical position, the number 9, I just mean his position that he sometimes finds himself in, where he's sort of, there's no really there, he's working on a bit of scraps, there's never been a chance, we don't deliver the ball a lot, do we? So like Bamford just wants the ball delivered a lot, you know, whipped into box and let him try and pick something up, or, you know, a lot of play goes through him, a lot of build-up plays, a lot of snaggy things where he has to win a free kick or hold the ball up, and Joseph was sort of finding himself in that position yesterday quite a bit, where you just think, you know, and then that's when people start going, other than scoring goals, what does he do? And it's like, well, you'd be surprised how much you miss that when it's not there. And Joseph does a good job of it, don't get me wrong. He's great in build-up play. We're great for second goal, which we will also get onto. This is not a critique of Joseph. I'm just saying it's good for him to get off at mark. It's, you know, it does need to happen. It was a good goal. Obviously, Solomon set him up. I thought Solomon looked really good on ball, really sharp. He looked like a Premier League footballer, really, didn't he? Some, like, really intricate bits. He did a bit right in front of us, like a pull-back, like a, I don't know what it's called, but where you go around corner, flick it round. That were lovely. really sharp. I thought their right back were all over him as well in first half. It was like, too far for my eyes to see, but there were a few wet ref didn't give. Refs are inconsistent, aren't they? I don't want to go on about ref. Everybody seems to blame. It's first, all I will say is, when was the last time does a Leeds fan think we had a good ref? And you would say, well, that's because we've never had a good fucking ref. But it just can't be the case, can it? All they do is that, for me, it's like the inconsistency is they give a soft one and then they don't give a pretty big one. There's like, rather than just being like, more 50-50 with it all, they're like, that's blatant, not given, and then later on they give a soft one. You've got to like erase that. I think they know when they think, oh, I maybe should have give that, and then they don't just forget it and think, right, go back to neutral. They sort of lean over towards, well, I'll give them a soft one in a minute. It just sort of appeases everybody. I think the crowd getting on the ref's back does undoubtedly help, if I'm honest. But yeah, there was also just a disclaimer, because this title will be clickbait, but some guys put on Twitter yesterday that, and it's only a joke, because obviously all this stuff's coming out about Solomon and how, there might be a rift among the players and all this stuff about his political views, which we don't talk about the political views on this show or any show that I will engage in, because I don't care about politics. This is purely football. But, I'm not talking about the politics of it. I'm talking about the discussion of the politics. So that sounds ridiculous, but that is what's happening. So somebody put that Joseph didn't celebrate with Solomon, right? And the comments, I mean, I actually follow the guy, and I'm not going to name the guy because he was only messing. And it's crazy. It's like mental, like people go... So, but I actually thought, because I thought, just for the sake of it, I'll watch the highlights and I'll see. Now, Joseph, literally, initially I thought that's just what Joseph's like. He's like barging everybody off, pointing at his back, giving it full shenanigans, full bam, getting full on with it. Full on in and on and over with it. And then he literally points at Solomon like, legend for that cross, legend. And then, you know what I mean, then brings him over, hugs him, all a lot of it. So the lad's just having a joke, but everybody, but this is how easily you can like just tell a little bit of a fib online and then it becomes the truth. I saw it, thought, Jesus, is that true? Watch the highlights. No, it's not true. Go back onto the tweet, right? Lad's having a laugh. Like, whoa, go easy. Firpo for that second goal is a joke in them positions. I love that. Brilliant. So happy for Peru, to be fair. Perisli to finish. He's in his interview afterwards. He said that he was, he never doubts himself in them positions. It was cold as ice. But it's a brilliant fizzed ball. Joseph, the ball through to Firpo. It's just, for me with Firpo, it's all the first time stuff he does all the time. He's really confident in his delivery. It's not necessarily the most difficult ball to play in the world, but first time, everything has to be first time in them positions. Because you can take a touch and you can, prolong it, but then Perisli, then doesn't have the time on the ball. When it's first time and he zips it across, Peru's got all the time in the world to finish that ball. To be fair, not to be fair, because it's a brilliant ball, I'm complimenting the ball. But, I actually backed Firpo to be able to put it on a platter for pretty much anybody on that back post. But I don't know if he's aimed for Ramazzini or whatever he's called, or Peru. But it does land right at Peru's feet. But it's maybe just in front of Ramazzini. I don't know, but it doesn't really matter. If he was aiming for Peru, he was aiming for Peru. If he was putting in an area, it ended up with Peru. Do you know what I mean? Ramazzini could have stretched and got there if it wasn't Peru behind. I don't know what my point is with that, but, Firpo either means it or he's just... No, he means it. He means to put it where it is. I don't know what I'm talking about with that, but hopefully that makes some form of sense. But yeah, I was really happy for Peru. And he really celebrated. He came over to our side. It's pretty mint. The goal kicks have come into massive question, haven't they? Because the goal kicks are bonkers, right? So obviously everybody gets on MESLIER Silent S's back, and that's fine. Because if we're gonna look at it, just totally like, MESLIER Silent S are putting us in a bit of bother. But I've just have to come to his defence to some extent. I have no problem with MESLIER Silent S taking the goal kick and giving it to Rodon or giving it to Struick. I do have a problem with Rodon or Struick giving it to MESLIER Silent S. I just think that is quite literally asking for mania. I don't really get it. I understand, I I don't know. I don't know if I do understand it. Even if Meslier takes it, gives it to Rodon, and he gives him it back, that's different. But I just think when Rodon's there, they know we're going to play short. Rodon's not going to lump it forward. Meslier, silent S, is the only one that might lump it forward. I'm on about from the actual goal kick. But he can dink it forward. So why Rodon would come to that goal kick, you know, unless Meslier, silent S's legs falling off, their attackers know that he's going to play it into Meslier's feet. So I just feel like it's asking for trouble. It causes a bit of trouble. I was hoping in the second half it would stop. I can still play it short, like I say, but just let Meslier, silent S, play it short. That would be my defence of Meslier. You're asking too much. It's putting him in trouble. I don't like it when the top distributors go. I really like Rodon and Struick, but they're not the best playing centre backs that we've had at the club. Other than, you know, like for instance Ben White. You know, they're not quite at that level on the ball. So I just feel like you just need to give them a little bit of a break with it. But I get it in the build-up play. I get that Meslier, silent S, everybody having a go at him for them when he cuts back. But we're looking... It's because you're watching Meslier, silent S. You're not necessarily you're not looking at what he's looking at. He's trying to create something. The side-to-side play thing that everybody bangs on about, Rodon and Struick at times, the only frustration I have with the side-to-side thing is it has to look like we might go forward. I've got no problem with going sideways, but when there's a form of hiding where I know I can just play it sideways, so I'm not going to bother having a look. So the attackers begin to recognise that they're not looking forward. So you have to receive the ball. These are elite players. I'm not telling these players how to play it. I'm just saying there's at times it has to look like Ampadu does it, where he always might go, and then there's a hesitance because I might do it. And then when you might do it, you go sideways. You might do it, you don't, you go sideways. You might do it, you don't, you go sideways. Then they fall asleep, and then you do it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if do, but if you just constantly, that's when it becomes monotonous at the back for me. But, you know, it's an excellent win. Great win. And we're really early in season as well. So, you know, I did have my reservations about the West Brom game because I didn't like how we set up. I thought it were rank. But it's a mint win. It's a clean sheet. But I still think we're all over the place. They had a good 20 minutes, and I know it's a game of football, and you're going to have sequences of play like 20 minutes where you're not going to be bang at it. But we're so shaky. There's times where, you know, once they beat the press, I just feel like you're straight in at us. Bogle and Rodon was finding themselves like in like a box, like in a square. All four of them. There were Firpo, Struick, Rodon, and Bogle, and we're in like this box, and then there's just overloads everywhere. And from my position in the ground, this sounds ridiculous because I'm just stood there, but you can sort of see, because I'm the, you know, the football is obviously everybody's moving. But if you just stood in a position like I am watching the game, you can see how like disenfranchised the whole it like breaks down. It's mad. And then there is a bit of unrest in crowd once that starts happening. But we controlled game really, really well towards end when they'd basically given up. But that's what it's about. And as I say, like early on in the season, it's all everybody bangs on about at what point you're coming into form and stuff. And you have to suggest that, you know, this has been a really good start to the season. The signings, I think, have been mint. Solomon looked brilliant. That Ramazzini, when he came on, looked really sharp. Ayo Tanaka guy seems to be everybody's best mate. Whoever named him, I know it wasn't, not English, but, you know, if you wanted somebody to be popular, that is the best way to go about it. Of that, there's no doubt. Mint win. On to the next one. Obviously, we're going to break now, which I can't stand international breaks. But in fairness, it gives them boys that are new into club a bit more time to, you know, integrate. Dan James, I'm not too sure how long he's going to be out for. Farky mentioned about the number 10 not coming in and stuff. I don't know. Did I mention the Aronson? Yeah, like the chipping in. So with Joseph, Aronson's performance was good. Nonso's performance was good. And Solomon's performance was good, but they're not necessarily... You don't question them players when they're not banging goals in. It doesn't really matter. They might get to like a game of like 10 or 12 and you think, oh, like that, and it actually comes to your attention and then you start watching them. Whereas when you're a number 9, you know, like Joseph, if he gets to 10, everybody's aware that he hasn't scored a goal yet. Do you know what I mean? Whereas you're not really looking at Nonto, Aronson and Dan James or Solomon or whatever like that in the same... I know they've all scored apart from Solomon, but you're not necessarily... the eyeballs are on the prize. If Aronson goes for sequence of 6 games now without contributing a goal or a setup or an assist, you're not necessarily looking at it. I would say that Parisli is the backup number 9. I don't, you know, he's still quite clumsome on ball and stuff, but in terms of just a goal getter, 15-20 minutes to go. Also, you know, he's clinical one-on-one. It's hard to get these one-on-one situations when teams sit in. That's the problem early on in the game. Whereas if we've gone a goal up and you put him on up top and he gets the check, you know, I don't know about 9 times out of 10, but 90 times out of 100, I reckon it goes in. So just to do a bit of Farky stats. But a shout out to everybody that follows me. I appreciate every which one of you. Subscribe. It really does help the channel if you like and all that stuff. Joe has instructed me that I need to be more on it with the telling everybody to subscribe and like and comment, which I've never done before. Let's see how it goes. Because the last time he asked, I got about 300 subscribers in about 15 minutes, which was madness.
Boom.
JackCity, bitch. JackCity, bitch. Hey!
I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is. Don't wanna ever feel surprised. That's why I ask no.